big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video.
We're going into the midge zone. The midges are everywhere, which is horrible. Just not by the midges. The midges are gonna really irritate me. Oh my God, I've got so many midges on me. Midges. Yes, this looks good. I'm quite excited now. I just love being in places like this so much. It doesn't get better than this. Good morning, everybody. Fantastic to see you all again. I am back where I love, and that is hiking in Great Britain. And I'm on the Isle of Arran at the moment, which I've been to a long time ago, but I didn't really do much photography. And from the first glimpse of it I've had so far, it just looks incredible. I'm hiking to a waterfall down here. I don't think it's going to quite work for sunset, but I want to go anyway, see what it looks like. And I want to chat to you about my channel, actually, and how things are going to change a little bit, because I want to go back to how I started my channel about 5-6 years ago now. And yeah, let's go and see what we can find. So as I walk along here, I just have a quick chat. So I have been to lots of amazing places recently, Greenland, Svalbard, and I've enjoyed the photography, but I've not really enjoyed making videos from there. I felt like it's not really a great adventure. It's not what I like doing, which is hiking. You know, there's a lot of being on a boat, which is fantastic for photography, but not so much for videos. And I feel like I just need to get back to how I started, which was just going out in the mountains in Great Britain and finding some great shots and taking you along, really. And hopefully we can learn some things together. And that's what I'm going to do today. I've got a bit waylaid. I've just seen this woodland here and it looks pretty spectacular. Probably not the right conditions, but it's worth a look. Wow, I can't wait to get back to do some woodland photography as well. I really missed that. I feel like I've just not seen enough green this year, and woodland is one of my favourite types of photography. Roll on autumn. Right, continue this way. I think these gates are to stop the deer. So this is probably the most photographed waterfall on Arran, and the next few days I'm going to be climbing on the mountains, but I just wanted to get a bit of a lay of the land today, just see what's here. It's a beautiful evening, it really is. Somebody just come back and said we're going into the midge zone. I haven't even thought about that, and there's not a lot of wind, which I think tomorrow night's going to be windier, but who knows. Anyway, I like these heather, and there's different types, so I'm going to take a shot of this. There's quite a lot of contrast in this shot, so I'm going to bracket it and probably also focus stack it, but I quite like the road and the mountains. I like the whole thing, in fact. Let's give it a go. Yeah, we have a lack of water. We could do some more, but I sort of knew that. So as soon as the sun drops, I'm going to get some nice colour that's reflected from the sky, I think. That's my hope. That's quite nice up there, actually. Yeah, so up here looks pretty good. You can see all the midges. There's a lot less water than I'd hoped. Anyway, let's see where we go now, that way or that way. Okay, I'm still getting to the waterfall that's going to be a bit better, which is the one up here. I can hear a lot of water falling, which is promising. The midges are everywhere, which is horrible as soon as I stop. But I've just found a really interesting composition here. So it's on the path. The path's got changed into sort of rock that obviously they couldn't move. And I really like the shapes of it. I like the heather here and the heather here. And then a little puddle there, leading you right through to the mountain in the background. The sky's not amazing, but still looks pretty good. So it's a good starter. Oh, this is looking really epic. Oh, this is really good. The mountain in the background, this waterfall looks fantastic. There's already a shot there, and the fact that this is in shade actually probably helps it. The mountain's going to stay in sun, or it's not going to stay in sun, but it's going to get sun for a while. Yes, this looks good. I'm quite excited now. Just not by the midges. The midges are going to really irritate me, and I didn't bring any midge spray. Oh my god, I've got so many midges on me. It's just ridiculous. I've got the midge protection suit on, but it's just not really helping. As soon as I stop, I just get millions of them. So, anyway, I'll show you this composition. It's pretty good. It's a shame we don't have a bit more heather here. I've got this tree on this side, this tree on this side, and then this line diagonally leads you to the mountain here. I just want some nicer clouds here. So really, I'm just going to wait. Oh my god, there's so many midges on my hand. I'm just going to wait a little bit and see what happens. Okay, I need to clear midges now. Stupidly, I forgot my filters, which I've done before, and I thought it'd be useful to tell you what I do when I forget my filters. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I think it's good to understand your lenses when you do this, because I'm going to have to up the aperture quite to a small aperture, like f22 potentially, and it's good to know how bad the actual camera and lens operate, or the lens operates at that. And then on this camera, I can go below ISO 64, so I can go down to a low ISO. You've got to also remember that reduces the dynamic range. So when you do that, if you can take it to a low ISO on your camera, I'd thoroughly recommend that you think about exposure bracketing. And also, when I do this, I always like to exposure bracket. Now the problem is, I can't really do much about polarization. And that's what I quite like. I like to adjust the polarization when I'm shooting waterfalls to get darkness in the water. But I actually think here, I'm not going to want to do that because I want the light from the sky, which is the sunset, to be reflected in the water. So yeah, I've got this composition here. It's fairly classic. This is the water, amazing waterfall, pretty cool mountain, amazing sky. I've just got to wait now, which is difficult with all these midges. So I'll look for a few different compositions. I'm thinking about crossing this here. Yeah, it's a little sketchy. Okay, I may have done something a little stupid here. I jumped over the water, so I just jumped from there to there. I nearly didn't make it, and I had my camera in my hand. So, yeah, so many things could have gone wrong there, but this is like 50 times better. I don't think I've seen a shot like this from here. Probably there is one, but it just looks so good. I just realised as well that I've just crossed the bridge down there, but I've had to go on this other side where there's no path. So yeah, I've got the mountain, this other waterfall, and then this really nice curve here. I don't think this is doing anything, so I think it's probably going to be a portrait shot. The other thing I want to say is, that I forgot to mention, is that when you're doing a long exposure with out filters, it's a good idea to do a faster exposure at like f8 for all the bits that are stationary, and then you can just blend in the longer exposure bit that's potentially, you know, a little bit more soft, because it doesn't matter because it's a long exposure. It's a little bit more work in Photoshop, but it's a good top tip. Right, let's take this photo. So I've been messing about with this now for so long, and basically there's a few things that I'm trying to consider. You got to remember that the photo's a bit wider than this, but there's some heather there which looks good, there's a rock there which looks good,
I want to be the right height for the river, because if you see, if I go lower, then that river doesn't look quite as good, I don't think. You don't get the full length of it. And then I've got to watch my tripod legs just down in the corners here. So I think I might have the tripod in at the moment. Nope. Oh yeah, I do. I might be able to get rid of that afterwards, so that's not too bad. And then I've got to get the right exposure length for the water, and I've not got filters. So it's taken a lot. I'll put all the settings on. I'm still waiting for the sunset. It's about another 25 minutes, I think, but I don't think it's going to get any better, to be honest. And the midges are just... Anyway, it's still amazing to be out, and oh my word, I'm having the time of my life here. I just love being in places like this so much. It doesn't get better than this. Come on, I just want to get some good light now. Midges. So it looks like, this is the worst place for the midges, so it looks like there's 100% cloud on the horizon. So I've jumped back over, come to this spot, got a shot with the clouds in this spot, and I'm going to sort of walk back down over there and see what I can find, but the midges are just so horrible. Anyway, back to the studio, because I'm going to print one of these images, because I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be really good.
Wow, I've just got back. I got back late last night from Arran, and oh my word, what an amazing location it is. It really is fantastic. I've got 2 other videos coming in the next 2 Sundays, and the next one is so special. I'll leave you at the end of the video with some footage from there. I want to talk more about this photo here that you just saw, because there's quite a few really interesting things about it, that I learned by forgetting my filters, which is interesting. And before I do that, I just want to thank my sponsor, and that is Squarespace. I know I talk about Squarespace quite a bit, but I'm really passionate about them. I really think they're a fantastic tool for photographers looking to share their work, build a portfolio. You can do that really easy. It's a really fantastic platform to be able to add your photos. You don't need any technical skills or build your own website. So if you want to create a domain name or set up your own website, then check out squarespace.com/Nigel for 10% off, or use offer code Nigel. Right, onto this photo. This, I'm really pleased with. I didn't get the sunset that I wanted. So what I was really hoping for was some really nice sunset light, but by the time, there's a lot of high cloud rolling in, and it just didn't work out. So this was probably the best set of lighting I got. This was all in shade, but I forgot my filter. So to do this long exposure, which I wanted here, which is I think around about half a second, then I needed to be able to up the aperture or down the aperture, whichever way you look at it, but create a really small hole to create less light in and have a longer exposure. And that was, in this case, f/18 is the one I used. But I was shocked on my 14 to 30mm lens just how soft f/18 was when I compared it with f/5.6. So what I've done is I've shot 2 photos at f/5.6, one for the top of the image, one for the bottom of the image. I've focus stacked those, and I've shot another image at f/18 for the moving water, and I've blended that together in Photoshop. Now, if you're interested in the exact way that I did that, because I'm not sure if people are super interested in those types of videos or not, then let me know in the comments below. And if I get enough comments saying, you want to see that, then I'll make a video all about exactly how I did it and go through the details of how I did it. But it's actually created the super sharp image. So I've got really sharp image here, especially around the mountains. And you can see comparing the f/18 and the f/5.6 on the mountain here, it's just so much different. And I really like it. I think there's a really nice balance to the image. I think the way your eye goes through and then diagonally across to this big rock, which was a bit of an issue when I was shooting from here because the rock became very dominant. works really well, and then jump to the mountains. I feel like this heather just also helps to balance the image a little bit. So I'm really, really happy with this image. I think it's worked incredibly well. The other thing I want to say just before I go is I now have all my calendars. So these are being packed at the moment by my little elves, and they're going to be going out in the next week or so. So if you've ordered a calendar, thanks so much. They're going to be going out soon. If you haven't ordered a calendar, I think I've got about 70 left. So they'll go really quickly. So if you're keen on getting this, I'm not going to be printing any more, then you know, go and have a look at my website and you can get one. I ship all over the world. And you know, just to give you an idea, these are some of the images that are in there. There's, you know, reasonable big boxes at the bottom, much bigger than the ones that I've done in the past that are portrait. I've made the calendar just a little bit bigger. And I've got some of my favorite images from the last 12 months in here. Probably one of my favourites is this one here from Wales when I was there with Mass and James. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed me back out in nature, in Great Britain, hiking. It's what I love. I'm going to do so much more of this. I really want to get back to how I started making videos. And if you have, then please give it a thumbs up. It makes a really big difference to the video. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Anyway, until next Sunday, bye.